LinkedIn will close its China operations due to increasingly harsh compliance requirements and more challenging operating environment in the country, announced by Mohawk Shroff, the LinkedIn Senior VP of Engineering, in his blog statement on October 14, 2021. Communist China's information control and extremely restrictive censorship have forced many US tech firms to give up their ambitions for the market with 1.4 billion in population. LinkedIn has 53 million users in China, about 7% of its total users worldwide. Under pressure from the communist regime, LinkedIn has tried to block the profiles of many researchers, scholars, and professionals with China equals related personal or professional experience. Due to the communist government's restrictions on social feeds and post-sharing features, LinkedIn had to create a new job search application exclusively for the China market. One thing the Chinese Communist Party does incredibly well is hiding the truth from the Chinese citizens. That is why social media companies which enable free flow of information and open discussions could not survive in China. CCP has the strictest control over the internet in the world. Although China has over 800 million internet users, they can only access CCP-censored information. Everything else is blocked by the CCP's high-tech internet gateway called the Great Firewall. The famous social media giants Twitter and Facebook have long been banned in communist China. LinkedIn, wholly owned by Microsoft, entered the China market in 2014 by essentially relinquishing its democratic values as a fair and balanced media platform to satisfy CCP's compliance rules. Per CCP's request, LinkedIn blocked the 1989 Tiananmen Square massacre, deleted accounts for human rights activists and froze the accounts of whistleblowers. LinkedIn filtered keyword searches for the CCP regime, totalitarian dictatorship, and other China critics. LinkedIn closed many accounts of Western journalists and researchers who spoke out the truth about the CCP regime and its threat to the democratic world. LinkedIn has aided and abetted CCP's propaganda for the sake of staying in China. Although LinkedIn is in favor of freedom of expression, against China's lack of freedom and content control, our presence in China would still be beneficial to the Chinese users, said Jeff Weiner, the former CEO, in a statement. LinkedIn has been the only major Western tech company with access to China market. Microsoft refused to answer questions on LinkedIn's willingness to carry water for the Chinese communist regime. A major US tech companies, like Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, Facebook, Twitter, Cisco, and Google willing to stand up against the competition and information threat from communist China, CCP's aggressive stance and practices of content censorship have far-reaching implications for billions of users all over the world through tech giants' platforms. It appears the only reason for these companies to continue collaborating with the CCP is their insatiable greed for profit. Miles Guo, the founder of the New Federal States of China, said, "CCP is engaged in an aggressive, state-led, well-planned, fully funded campaign to take the global economy hostage, and to supplant the United States as the world's new superpower. American tech companies sold their souls to the evil CCP for short-term gains, at the cost of freedom and human rights in the democratic world," Mr. Guo added. Ironically, the Great Firewall, CCP's sophisticated firewall system for internet surveillance and censorship, was built by none other than the US tech giant Cisco. Is making money more important than protecting democracy and freedom? How far are these big tech companies ready to go to please CCP for profits? Which big tech company will be the next to leave communist China? Will the large US tech firms continue to serve as the pawns of the Communist China Party? Will the US lawmakers do something to stop CCP's aggression from becoming the world's superpower through unrestricted information warfare? Becoming CCP's partner will never have a happy ending. LinkedIn's nightmare is just the beginning.